This is a day that the Lord has made. Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Vanessa. It is Sunday. It is scripture time. We're going to continue in Matthew 5. So I will read and then we can discuss or you can add comments. We are on verse 21. You have heard that it was said to the people long ago, "You shall not murder, and anyone who murders will be subject to judgment." But I tell you that anyone who is angry with a brother or sister will be subject to judgment. Again, anyone who says a brother or sister, Raca, is answerable to the court. And anyone who says, "You fool," will be in danger of the fire of hell. Therefore, if you're offering your gift at the altar and then remember that your brother or sister has something against you, leave your gift there in front of the altar. First go and be reconciled to them, then come and offer your gift. Settle matters quickly with your adversary who is taking you to court. Do it while you're still together on the way, or your adversary may hand you over to the judge, and the judge may hand you over to the officer, and you may be thrown into prison. Truly, I tell you, you will not get out until you have paid the last penny. So let me highlight for myself. Of course, murder is the main important thing. You shall not murder. Do not be angry with your brother or sister. Hi, Justin. Welcome to my Sunday Scripture Live. I'm in Matthew 5. How are you? Let's see. Okay. Now I'm going to read verse 27 under adultery. You have heard that it was said, "You shall not commit adultery." But I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart. If your right eye causes you to stumble, gouge it out and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to be thrown into hell. And if your right hand causes you to stumble, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to go into hell. Hello, Savage. Hello, Doggy. I am reading Matthew chapter 5, verses. So far, I've read 21 through 29 verses. And I think along this path, I do want to continue with divorce. That's what my Bible labels it. It has been said, anyone who divorces his wife must give her a certificate of divorce. But I tell you that anyone who divorces his wife, except for sexual immorality, makes her the victim of adultery. And anyone who marries a divorced woman commits adultery. Hi, Natalie. This is why I will get married forever. Hi, Lively Guts. I'm reading my Matthew chapter 5, verses 21 through 32. Let me write that down so I don't forget. 21 through 32. The New Testament is my most favorite because it tells me what I need to do. But it is interesting that if you marry a divorced person, you're committing adultery. Yo, that's gonna make it like impossible for me to find my husband in my 40s. Yeah, so the topics were you shall not murder, you shall not commit adultery, and basically when you get married it's supposed to be for life. I thought 5 consummated marriage. I thought I'm not sure what that comment is, lively. Oh, I see what you're saying. No, adultery, which is what I have believed too, even if you just look at someone else lustfully, you've already committed adultery. It's hard to find someone who oh, what am I dropping? Who takes that seriously. But I don't know what is anyone's thoughts. Hello 420. Thank you for liking. Mhm. Yeah, I can see your side, lively. And it is ridiculous how women dress. I don't know who started that trend and why it is still going to practically wear nothing. What am I looking for? Oh, okay, there we go. You try not to. Yeah, that is like hurtful to a woman from my point of view. But I guess you have to be a very confident woman in today's society. The commandment, thou shalt not murder, I just wonder how that works for our soldiers. I guess I would imagine it's an exception because in the Bible there was many wars that had to be had. I specifically remember when I was reading the book of what was it? Was it Jeremiah? Where the Lord was specifically telling him what he needed to do. Yeah, so it's just one of those things I think about. Yeah, I have to think of those examples. I have to remember them. So yeah, again, I read Matthew 5. My Bible titles, one section murder, one section adultery, and one section divorce. I came from parents who were married until death did them part. They were married for over 40 years. Oh, goodness. I've never been married, but once I am, I know it's going to be forever. So that's why I have to be very cautious of who I allow into my heart. Is anyone in here married, and for how long have you been married? I'm gonna put. Should I put that in the chat poll? Um, I believed they had a perfect marriage until I was older. I saw them laugh a lot. My dad used to make my mom laugh. My dad had all these jokes. He would always make her laugh. My dad, um, he built my mom whatever she wanted. She wanted, for instance, she wanted an outside kitchen. He built it for her. She wanted a Mexican style patio. My dad built it for her. And my mom, on the flip side, she'd get up early in the morning, cook my dad his breakfast, his lunch when he used to work, pack his lunch. She took care of all his appointments, his doctor appointments, made sure he was on track. Um, they seemed happy. Now, were they really happy? I don't know. That was between them and God. They both loved music. They both loved dancing. They would go out dancing every weekend. Um, what else? Every time we had family get-togethers, they were together. I see couples nowadays, and even in my own relationships I've had, that I'm a family-oriented person. So I'll go to my family events. I'll go to your events. But the people I've been with were not family people, and they wouldn't come with me at all, or just show up for a few minutes and then leave. Like, I didn't like that. um, so yeah, I learned what to do and what not to do, observing my parents' marriage, which I think is what you should do in every situation. You learn what to do, what not to do. Is there any reason? I don't see a reason for divorce. This says except for sexual immorality. But you still end up, this is my understanding, but you still end up not being able to be with someone else because you're going to commit adultery. You're going to be a part of adultery, whether you stay together or leave. Is that how you would interpret that? But I also know family members who, even though there was adultery, they stayed together, they worked it out. And I think that's how it should be. Yeah, I've just always had the understanding that marriage is a one-time thing. My grandparents were together till death did them part. My great grandparents were together until death did them part on both sides. My mother's side, on my father's side. It makes life definitely easier for the kid. I know life is hard for my child who he has to go spend his time with his dad in a whole different state. And then he has to, oh, you're not married. No, I want to be married and I will go through whatever I got to go through as long as it's with the right person. And you have to have a heart to know that we're not perfect. I mean, hopefully you pick someone that's not going to do that to you, but I don't know. Oh, really? Yeah, for me, my biggest, and I know, I hope the Lord forgave me, but my biggest, um, how do I say it? Not being married to my son's father is my biggest thing that took the longest to forgive myself. I tried and I tried. I stayed single while he went off and did his thing. I tried to work it out again. It just didn't work. And when my son told me, "Mom," he came in from school. He's like, "There's a dad I think you'll like." That's when I knew, okay, my son is ready for me to move on. But it's a struggle. It's a big struggle. Almost every time my son isn't doing well, like I guess emotionally, it comes down to family. He's like, it's just you and I, that hurts me. That I couldn't give him a family. And I tried. But I have to just believe this is how it was supposed to be. Yeah, I just hope and pray my son chooses, gets back on track, like my family's history, and marries someone and they stay together. So death do them part. I don't know if anyone else new joined, but we are reading Matthew 5, which talks about murder, adultery, and divorce. And I'm just curious if anyone in here is married. I think he will because with me, he's an only child. With his dad, he has older siblings. And I think he does want a family unit. And he'll probably have a lot of kids. That's what I foresee. And hopefully, like, I'm looking forward to having a daughter in law. I'm looking forward to having granddaughters because I don't have, a daughter. I see that in a vision. But he says he wants to wait till he's a little bit older, so I don't know when that'll happen. Violet cuts. What is the picture? What is your picture? I can never tell. Really, an only child for 17 years. Hi, Fiona. How was that being an only child? Did you enjoy it? I do have a cousin who has a similar experience as my son. He was an only child with one parent, and then his other parent, who lived in another city, had older kids. So I've tried to tell my son to, talk to him. And good thing he's a boy because he knows what it is to be an only child. Thank you, Fiona. Oh, yeah. My son doesn't like to ask for help. And I'm like, son, you have to. You have to build relationships and ask for help. He does have a good group of friends. They've been friends probably since freshman year, or yeah, all of them together since freshman year, but I think some of them he's known longer. It's because there's like, it's a small city, but there's still 2 to 3 different, or even up to 4 different elementary schools and junior highs, and then finally they've joined at the same high school. So yeah, I always ask him though if he has serious talks with them, and I'm like, like, what do you talk to your friends about? But I did take my son to counseling, and I took him to different types of help. And even now, when I see him like not doing too good, and I tell him, I offer to get him someone to speak to because sometimes it's easier to talk to someone who doesn't know you than it is to talk to someone who does. And I also, took him to our church leader when we were going to church, just showing him that you don't have to do this alone. I mean, God is the number one person to seek, but you don't have to go through life alone. We're talking about Matthew 5, specifically murder, adultery, and divorce. So I'm saying that I've never married, but I do have a son, and it is very challenging. It is difficult. And I wish I would have been married through all this. But I'm going to assume and trust the Lord that's not what the plan was. At least up to this point, it hasn't been. But yeah, we could talk about that or anything in the Bible, which I beautifully tabbed my Bible last week. And I bought myself a new ribbon, page marker. It makes me want to open my Bible even more. And I have to do that for myself. I have to make things more, I guess, aesthetically pleasing. I don't know. Okay. Have a good day, Fiona. Yeah, if anyone else is here passing through, hope you have a great Sunday. Uh, I think I'm going to make it a great Sunday myself. Hello, hello. Anyone have any questions or anything they want to talk about in the Bible? Oh, thank you, Fiona. She's too sweet. I'm going to assume she is a she with the name Fiona. Did anyone in here go to church? Do you go to church? I personally have not been to church in a long time. Um, so I just have a relationship with God personally as best as I can, reading my Bible, praying. I try to do fellowship with people such as this whenever I get the chance. I went to 3 Christian conferences this year, and I had never been to one at all. And I believe it was just perfect timing when they popped up. Now, when I was younger, I did go to, like, I guess you could call it a teen conference, which was great. But now as an adult, so the second conference I went to, they invited me to their church afterwards because, yeah, they were basically put on by a church. But I guess he's the preacher. I could not tolerate the way he preached, his voice, and it was it literally hurt my ears. And I felt bad, but I didn't go to that church. How would I meet a partner through the church? I think and I've done this before, so thank you for reminding me. Some churches do have like not Christian, but like single gatherings. And I did go to one about 5 years ago. And I think they still have them on the weekends. But I only went one time. And I didn't realize that I went to the wrong one. So I went where there was like older people. And I went dressed thinking, I'm going to meet my future husband. I stayed there for the entire time, but I left quickly because there was just like a little bit of praying at first and a little bit of talk about finding your person. And then I left as soon as I could. And then it kind of, I guess, scared me because why did it scare me? It just didn't feel right, I guess. So I never tried to go back to the right group. And also, it was long, it was a drive. I want to find someone in my community. And I had driven like 45 minutes. To me, that's too long. The Lord is going to send me the person that's going to be easy. Like, it's going to be easy to hang out. It's going to be easy to communicate. This is what I think. It's going to be easy to spend time with each other and not be so complicated with schedules and distance. Oh, that is, yes, I do think so too. Lively cuts. Yeah. So they don't have to be a like a good Christian to begin with, I think is what you're saying. They can become that. Yes. Yep. I'm not, what's the word? I'm not limiting myself to be with someone who's exactly like me from the get go, but I will know if they want to be, if they're not already, I will know that they want to get there. But it would be easier if they were already, if they were already in the same mindset as me to begin with. Now you have me just thinking. For instance, the last person I was with, they got me by we first like we talked for an hour at our first meetup about Bible. It was absolute. I was so happy. We were just going back and forth conversing about the Bible, and then I started to notice things. And when I would ask him, at this point, I was already invested. My heart was invested, and at that point, he lied to me from the get go. And when I was trying to give him a chance to redeem himself, like say, yeah, I did lie, I do that, I do this, I don't do that, whatever. He still continued to lie. And I finally realized I can't do it anymore. I'm not Jesus. I was not going to forgive him over and over and over. I'm not perfect. Now, if I had married him from the get go, I would figure stay and keep trying and trying, but we never married. So bye. And you know what is crazy? He has tried to call me, and because I'm single, I'm like, okay, what's going on? But now my phone, because I quit my job, I have a like a fresh phone or whatever we want to call it. So I lost contacts and I don't have his contact anymore. So I won't be tempted to contact him, even though I didn't have that feeling. Yes, it is hard. And I even asked him, I remember, I was like, "You're not a snake, are you?" Of course, he didn't tell me no. But he's like, "That's a good question." And no, but he was a snake. Yeah. I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up on love. But it's hard. I had to put myself out into a dating app to find the person I found. He has a family who is very involved in the Bible. They're very involved. Like they have their own YouTube channel that they recently started. They didn't have it when I first started talking to my guy. So they want the best for him. They want him to be a man of God, but he's choosing not to. My child's father, he was a he came from a troubled start, a troubled beginning, but I loved him anyways because I loved his heart and I believed him when he said he wanted to be better, he wanted to do better. And at the time, I was Christian. I was Catholic my basically my whole life. So he started taking classes to become a Catholic. But then he'd miss it for very, very bad reasons. And then he just stopped going, so he never followed through. And I was extremely forgiving with him because he was like my first true love. So I gave him a lot of chances, a lot. And then after I was completely done, I'm like, I don't see any way of us getting back together because of like the final blow from him, which one day I might talk about it. I don't know, because it's not good. And it involves a lot of people. It's not just my story, it's other people's stories too. So I don't want to give the details. But anyways, after he completely left and hit me the hardest, like I was devastated. It was hard. That was a hard time. He would call me after and he's like, "Oh, you'd be proud of me because I did this." And he eventually did become a Catholic after all of that. But the situation that happened, when it happened, is still happening. It's like, okay, I really don't care. I really don't care what you do with your life. I just want to know when you have my son. That's the only time I need to know about. We used to be best friends. Even when we weren't together, we used to be best friends, and I would keep him well informed of our son's life. But now I'm like, mm-mm. So to say, does he? One of our last conversations we had, he told me that I'm going to hell just like he is. So even though he turned Catholic or whatever, I still think he is leading the path of destruction. And I'm like, you're speaking for yourself because I'm doing my best to get to heaven. But it sounds like he knows and wants to go to hell. Oh. But in the end, like when he when he told me he wanted to be better, it didn't match my definition of better. So we were his better was still, in my opinion, evil and bad. And of course mine was trying to live godly. And we never matched there ever. Not even to this day. And I was like, this can't oh, that doesn't work. Hey pets. Hello, Ralph. What was his evil? Um, again, this is my opinion. He smokes weed. He still does. He and I can't speak to what else he does now, but at the time he was supposed to be with me, but he would have intimate conversations with another woman. And then he put his friends over his kids. Like he would rather be hanging out with his friends than come home where his kids were at. He had a very, very like evil way of thinking. He would see someone who had their music really loud or whatever, and he was like, they have crappy system. And it's like, why does it matter to you what kind of system they have? Just be happy that they, that must be what they want. That must be what they like. Like, be happy for other people. Don't wish bad on other people. That's what I could see. Yeah, that's nice, lively. Yeah, when you're so different like him and I were, he didn't understand. I didn't want to be because he was friends with one of my cousins. Okay. Yes, that's my cousin, but I know my cousin does bad too, so I didn't want to be there. And he would make me feel so bad for not wanting to hang out at my cousin's house. He would go hang out himself. I'm like, they're doing too much bad. I don't want to be there. I don't want my son around that. I don't want him to see that. And he didn't care. He put friends above everything. He put his friends above God. He put his friends above my our relationship. He put his friends above his relationship with his kids. I don't know. He claims he's changed, but I don't care to know anymore because the situation that ended us is still happening. Is the best way I can say it without saying it. Oh, as a parent, I will not allow my son to quit a sport, for instance. You gotta push through, whether you get the spot you want or not, whether you get playing time or not, whether you um the team is losing or winning. You don't quit. But his dad, oh, if you want to quit, it's okay. Really, that's the advice you're gonna give your son. He hasn't changed. I don't think he's changed. So yeah, anyone new here, we're reading Matthew, murder, adultery, divorce topics. And then it just naturally kind of goes to other subtopics. Yes, I did the other night. And I want to watch it again because I was watching, but I wasn't 100% paying attention. So I want to watch it again. But what I did see, I was crying because I didn't realize, I don't think it emphasizes it enough in the Bible, but to know how how that was interpreted, it makes sense that Mary sacrificed a lot. She didn't have a choice, but she sacrificed a lot being pregnant in a time where that was a huge, huge no-no. And I also, oh, y'all, whoever is on here would share with you. I feel like I am Mary looking for my Joseph because I already have a son. So yeah, that touched my heart big time. And Joseph fought for her. He stood up for her. Ooh, I was like, Lord, why can't you send me a husband like that? You know what? I might watch that again today. Yes, I'm gonna watch it again. Okay, y'all, am I by myself? It looked like nobody's here. Now there's one person. But I think it's delayed. Yeah, if anyone have you watched Mary on Netflix? Oh goodness. I'm glad that person asked if I watched it. What time is it? Hello, Ravindra. I'm doing good. It is Sunday morning. And I'm proud of myself for doing my Sunday morning scripture lives. I don't know if I want to commit to doing this every morning. I think I am, though. I don't know. I got to come up with a plan because starting tomorrow, I will have the time. How are you doing? Let's see who. All right, y'all. There's nobody on here anymore, so I'm going to end my live. I thank you for participating. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Sunday, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.